let's talk about the biggest surprise we had on a rehab. I can think of a couple that were pretty big. I guess one of them wasn't really a surprise, but we'll go with it. Um, let's say you have a flip that you've had for quite a while, the project as a, overall, and rehab went over,
Mm-hmm.
had issues with historical society, issues
Mm-hmm.
with the contractor, almost ready to close.
Like the day before.
I think it was like 2 days before. A historic ice storm comes to Oklahoma in October
Mm-hmm.
and brings limbs down all over the place.
Power lines.
I don't remember how many power lines. It was crazy. They had to bring in
So
crews
bad.
from lots of other states.
Which included a tree down at this house
Yep.
and a power line down.
Did the whole tree go down or just a part of it? I think just part of it, right?
Yeah.
A large branch came down, took down the power line going from the pole to the house because it had overhead service.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like it was low. I mean, it was high. And this was a very, very old established tree.
Big tree.
Took it down. Okay, well, I mean, these things happen. You call an electrician. We work. I mean, this is something we do. We know electricians. You have them come out. They replace the mast. The electric company comes out, hooks it back up. Should be pretty easy, right?
Except for when a million other people are calling them to do the same thing.
Yep. Electricians weren't even responding to phone calls. Within a few hours of everything hitting.
Mm-hmm.
But also, all the supplies in the region were sold all of a sudden. You couldn't find mastheads. You couldn't find meter bases. There were a lot of things that you could not find.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, "Oh my goodness, this is crazy. We'll get it fixed. And no problem there." But understandably, the buyers for this house, it was above median, well above median
Mm-hmm.
price house. They didn't want to close with not having power onto the house because they were concerned, were there other issues? Did anything else happen? So,
Which was one thing, that tree that went down narrowly missed the garage and the house. It fell right in between the two of them.
yeah, because this is an older house, 2-story older house that had a carriage house in the
Mm-hmm.
back that had been converted into a garage.
Mm-hmm.
And then the tree was in the backyard. The tree literally fell right between them, did not hit either of those.
I don't know how we managed that. I really don't.
We were so lucky on that one. That was the flip from hell at that point, and I just knew we were going to get screwed. But we were lucky. We reached out to one of the contractors we work with, and they got one of their electricians to come over and do it ASAP. I mean, it cost us, but that was fine. We were fine paying.
Mm-hmm.
We knew what we were dealing with,
Mm-hmm.
but we were able to close on time, like 2 days after this historic ice storm. It was
A miracle, but we closed on time. Because the other part we couldn't control, we had zero control over, was the electric company turning it back on.
mm-hmm.
Because they were turning on sections back at a time, making sure all the houses.
I had forgotten about that. Yeah, so even after they had us hooked up, we had to wait for the area to be turned back on because so many transmission lines were down too.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, a miracle, and we made it to close on time. But there was a lot learned on that flip.
There was a whole lot learned on that flip. That was definitely one that we got our value of education out of.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Historic society, state dealing with the state historic.
Mm-hmm.
Contractor learned about how to realize that your contractor isn't working with the historic people well like you thought.
When to just cut your losses with the contractor.
Yeah, when to cut your losses with a contractor, when to how to handle certain things not being disclosed, especially when you're purchasing with an agent involved.
Mm-hmm.
This is one that an agent brought to us and it wasn't disclosed. It was in a historic area. Sometimes it's better just to take the energy that you would have spent of the time or money and just focus on getting things corrected and moving forward, right, versus
Pick your battles.
yeah.